What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with the head-to-head comparison of two tablets that look the same on the outside but are different on the inside. We've got the new iPad here on the left, and we've got the iPad 2 sitting right there on the right. We're going to go ahead and put these two head-to-head and decide whether or not upgrading is right for you or whether or not picking up a new iPad is going to be the right call for you to make. Let's go ahead and get started. So just to reiterate, we've got new iPad here on the left, iPad 2 here on the right. Let me go ahead and show you a few things. Photos are the only application open on each, and brightness is currently set to max on both, just so you can see the difference as I go through and talk. Go ahead and close both of these guys. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about screens. Screens are the main difference here on both iPads. A lot has been made about its resolutionary display, and that is, of course, the Retina display with a resolution of 248 by 1536, double the resolution found on that guy, the iPad 1. All right, so resolution's higher. What is that really going to mean to you? Let me go ahead and show you a few pictures and show you a few examples of what the screen is going to mean. So we'll go ahead and open up pictures. And there's a picture of one of the cutest puppies I know. That is Lucy. And right off the bat, you can see the difference between the brightness and what these things look like. Again, both set to max brightness. I never thought the screen on the iPad 2 was particularly dark or dull, but certainly looking head to head, you can definitely see a difference. It's akin to going to your local big box store and looking at two televisions. You look at a lower resolution television right next to a higher resolution television, you can see a difference when they're next to each other. But if you take that lower resolution set home, it's going to look fine up on your wall. And that's certainly the same thing here. Go ahead and zoom in on that little smushy face. Again, you can start to see a bit of difference there as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at video, since these are video powerhouse machines, and see what video looks like on both of them. So we've got an episode of Deadwood here queued up. Let's go ahead and hit play, and it's the iPad 3 on top and the iPad 2 down below. Volume's been turned down here, and you can see the difference there as well. Same thing we saw on pictures. It's definitely brighter and certainly more crisp when you're looking at HD video, especially when you look at them side by side. So video, certainly the new iPad, as expected, looks better, but nothing giant. Certainly alone, not a reason to upgrade. All right, so next, talking about screen, let's go ahead and talk about text, since we might do a lot of reading on here, whether it's books or web. So we'll go ahead and open up Safari on each. Now let's go ahead and load up technobuffalo.com on both. And we can see what text is going to look like and how things render. So we'll go ahead and start right up where the first article begins. And again, the brightness, you can see the same thing we saw in pictures. If we go ahead and click on an article, so let's say we'll hit the Rovio one, for example. Text is one of the areas we really can see a noticeable difference here. So if we go ahead and scroll down to where we see text, if you can see a difference there on camera. You know, oftentimes a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about doesn't always translate that well from camera to whatever you're viewing. But hopefully you'll be able to see the fineness of the font there, looking at both of them. So there's that. But what about apps? We all play games. We all use the iPad for all kinds of fun stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of the most graphically impressive games that's around, and that is, of course, Infinity Blade. Now, certainly as developers begin to develop more for the new iPad, we'll see better graphics come up. This guy does have support for quad-core graphics. So let's go ahead and open up Infinity Blade real quickly and just take a look at what that's going to look like on each. And again, you probably see a difference between these two as development continues and as we're able to take advantage of the raw horsepower found in the new iPad. But Infinity Blade 2 on both tablets. All right, so this is Infinity Blade. It's a little bit of a dark introduction, but you can definitely see a difference here between the two of these. Really impressive graphics, though, especially for a mobile console. So this has been a sort of a short, quick look at Infinity Blade. Let's go and close out of this. Next thing, let's talk about speed and opening up applications, whether or not there's really a noticeable difference or not. So let me go ahead and close everything that was open, just to keep things even. And we've got the same applications open on each. And there's nothing else open there. We'll do the same thing here on the new iPad, living on the left. We'll go and try some sort of familiar applications. And again, as developers can take advantage of the horsepower and the graphics capabilities, assuming we'll see faster upload speeds. Let's go ahead and take a look at something like Pages, for example. It's a pretty large program. Let's see how that opens up on both. I can hit them at the same time. So opened up certainly quicker on the new iPad, as you'd expect. So there's something to Keep in mind, and certainly as I use both, I'm seeing that this does open applications a little bit quicker, Pages just being one of those examples. All right, so the other big difference here, aside from the screen, is LTE. Let's go ahead and check out some LTE speeds. Both these guys are connected to Wi-Fi. In fact, let's run a speed test to show how quick the Wi-Fi network is here, and then we're going to put it head-to-head against LTE. So if I can find my speed test app, which is right there, we'll see what LTE is going to compare at. So go ahead and let that run. In the meantime, I'm going to turn off Wi-Fi on this guy. Go into settings and turn on LTE. Go ahead and turn off Wi-Fi. So pretty nice network speeds here. Go ahead and kick on cellular data. So decently fast Wi-Fi network here. I'll go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. We're getting 15-ish down, about 2.7 up. Usually we're a little faster on the up, but that's what it's showing. So we've got Verizon LTE here. Let's go ahead and run a speed test on this guy. And I saw my speed test app somewhere. There it is. And see what we're getting. Again, this is going to vary depending on where you live. We're in Southern California with about 3 bars of Verizon LTE. Let's go ahead and check out the speeds here. So generally the speeds we're seeing are in the 7-ish. Looks like we're a little bit slower today, 5 something. Upload speeds are generally pretty good on Verizon's LTE. You can see right here, upload speeds are incredible. Okay, so a little bit slower on the download, or a lot slower on the download, faster on the upload. That's great. These are just numbers. What does that mean for real life? Well, let's go ahead and test some real life stuff as well. I'm going to go ahead and we'll close out everything that's open here yet again, just to keep things even and fair. And I'm going to go ahead and reset cookies and cache and all that rest of that business. We at least get a, hopefully a fair test. So we'll do that here on the iPad 2 and do it all on camera so you guys can see nothing, no shenanigans going on here. We'll clear history. Oops, clear. And we'll go ahead and clear cookies and data. Cleared. And we'll do the same thing here on the new iPad that I keep wanting to call the iPad 3. Safari, go ahead and clear history. And we'll clear cookies and data. All right, so I am on LTE here, and I am on Wi-Fi there. We'll load a couple web pages and see how things look. Go ahead and open these up. And let's go ahead and load technobuffalo.com on each. We'll go ahead and push it there, and let go. And let's see if we have any sort of difference. Despite that big network speed, looks like we've seen the content first on Wi-Fi, and it's done on Wi-Fi and done just a second or two later on LTE. So still very, very fast. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at video, for example. Let's go ahead and jump into YouTube and see if there's a big difference here as well. We'll go look at featured, do featured here, and take a look at the Prometheus trailer and see how things load. Actually, take a look at the new Angry Birds Space. I'm kind of excited about that game launching tomorrow. Second lower. Second later on Wi-Fi, see if that matters. So still playing now here on LTE. So even though I hit that a second later, this definitely loaded even faster. So LTE is a huge difference here. If you do a lot of traveling like me, you're going to be really happy to have those extra LTE speeds. So certainly something to bear in mind. In my usage, Wi-Fi and LTE have been almost identically as fast, and we sort of saw that here as well. Camera. Big difference here on the cameras as well. The front cameras are equally stinky, but the back is where the difference is. We've got a 1080p 5 megapixel shooter. We did a video showing head-to-head video footage and also showing what pictures look like. You can check that out. Certainly we saw a difference, but the camera on the iPad 2 was abysmal. Absolutely awful. Anything, even me sketching by hand would have been better than the camera on the iPad 2. So if you use your iPad for a lot of photos or videos, or you think you might, certainly an awkward camera to use, you're going to want to consider looking at the new iPad. Battery. So we've got pretty much double the battery in here than we've got here, but usage-wise has been just about the same. LTE is certainly a bigger battery drain, so if we turn that off, the higher resolution display, it's got to power more pixels, bigger battery drain. It's been almost identical. Generally, I get about 9.5-ish hours on each. I haven't seen any difference in battery life. From a size comparison, I can get all technical on you. The new iPad's a little bit thicker and it's a little bit heavier. You can see it's right there on the right. but nothing noticeable. You feel the difference the first time you pick it up, and after that, you sort of just become used to it. So don't let any difference in size or weight worry you. A lot of reports on overheating on the new iPad. It certainly runs a little bit warmer, but hasn't caught fire yet for me. So let's go ahead and draw a conclusion. What should you do with the iPad? Should you upgrade? Should you not? If you have an iPad 2, it's not worth the upgrade in my opinion. It's only worth the upgrade if you're a road warrior and you use a lot of mobile data on your iPad. Then LTE is going to be a really welcome addition. Otherwise, I just can't recommend the new iPad over the iPad 2 if you have an iPad 2. The screen looks nicer, but once you have the iPad 2 at home and you don't know what the iPad 3 screen looks like, it's not next to you to compare, you're really not going to notice that much of a difference. I always thought the screen on the iPad 2 is actually pretty solid. The camera, I don't use that much, so it hasn't been that big of a difference to me. If you're a big camera guy or girl and you want to take a lot of photos, then maybe consider upgrading to the new iPad. If you don't have a tablet already and you're deciding whether or not to pick up the iPad 2 versus the new iPad, definitely go for the upgraded in the new iPad. You're going to get the better screen, you're going to get LTE, and all for just a little bit more money. It's sort of tough to compare these two and give a recommendation, but in conclusion, I don't believe the new iPad's worth the upgrade if you have a perfectly functioning, working iPad 2. If you're looking to jump into the iPad market, the new iPad represents a really great value proposition. For my money, it's still the best tablet on the market. I'm John Renger from Techno Buffalo. Hope you enjoyed this versus tablet battle. I'll see you guys in the next video. Do you agree or disagree? Leave your comments down below. Bye-bye.